Hi, so here are a few really important things you should know before signing a work contract here in Germany. I hope you got a nice job offer on your table right now, but even if you don't, I think these tips I'm going to give you will be very helpful for you also for future negotiations when you're looking for a job. So first of all, I think what's really important to know about work contracts here in Germany is that we do have a very legal, kind of strict legal environment when it comes to employment. But it doesn't mean that we have a very fixed template that people follow for employment contracts. So we don't have a standardized way of writing employment contracts. So basically you can find a lot of different examples of what this kind of contract could look like. And I know that this is kind of confusing, and don't worry, this is also confusing for people from Germany. So not just for you guys. But still, I think there are a few things you can pay attention to, and you can also find a lot of examples of different kinds of employment contracts online. So just make sure that all of the important data is, of course, correct. Your address, your name should be fully, spelled out in the contract. Same goes for your employer. Also, your location should be mentioned. Of course, your salary level. And for your salary, that's really important if you negotiated your salary. And I recently did a video on that, which I'm going to link up here. If you negotiated it successfully, you should really make sure that everything about your salary is written down in your contract. If you negotiated any kind of variable kind of salary or a salary increase after a few months, make sure that this is kind of included in your contract or written down somewhere else. But just make sure that this is kind of documented somewhere. That's very, very important. Then also another thing that's very relevant is that here in Germany, we often have a probationary kind of period at the start of your employment. So this usually lasts 6 months if you're working full time. And in this period, the notice period is shorter. So both you and your employer can easily cancel this contract, usually within 2 weeks notice. So just be aware of that. After this time frame, we have a very kind of protective framework, so it's not that easy to fire employees over here, which is very good, I think. But this is just very important for you to know that that's something you will usually find in your employment contract, and that's completely normal. This is something you will have everywhere. Then also check if the start date is mentioned correctly, and then check if there's an end date of the employment contract, because sometimes companies only give out limited employment contracts, which can then be extended. Here we have a bit of complex framework, but we have provided more details on what employment contracts should look like in an article, which I'm going to link here in the comments. And it's a full checklist with a lot of explanations. So I would really recommend you to take a look at that. Just one more thing I want to point out is that we also have a fixed number of vacation days here in Germany. So usually if you work full-time, which means 40 hours per week, 5 days a week, that's the usual framework, or something close to 40 hours, then you are entitled to 20 days leave every year. And it can also be more. A lot of companies I have seen here are giving more vacation days to their employees, but 20 days is the minimum if you're working full-time 5 days a week. So these are just a few important factors. As I mentioned, there are several more. So check out the article I have mentioned, and I'm going to link it down here in the comments. Check it out. There's a full checklist, and I think that will be very, very helpful for you. And with this, I'm wishing you all the best for your new job or for your job search if you're still in this negotiation or search mode. All the best, and leave me your comments. Also leave me questions if you have specific questions about this. I want to point out I'm not a lawyer, so I cannot give any kind of legal counseling. If you're facing a kind of critical issue, I would always recommend you to reach out to your lawyer who is very much familiar with the kind of employment framework and legal framework here in Germany. But if you have general questions about careers in Germany, as always, leave me a comment, and I look forward to being in touch with you.